Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Tables, Others and Chairs. Obviously, things a little bit different at the minute, what with lockdown, the coronavirus. I had loads of interviews lined up, and sadly, this has happened. Obviously, more important things than wrestling interviews. But while everybody's in lockdown, I thought we'd bring you something different than empty arena wrestling, which can get a little bit tedious. Got a guest with us, as you can see today. He is the head designer in BritRest. It is
Thank
Big
you.
Guns Joe. How's it going, man?
Hello, man. Yeah, I'm alright, mate. Yeah, getting sick of this lockdown now, but missing the gym. But other than that, yeah, sound. I'm alright.
How long have you been on lockdown now?
How long's it been now? 4 or 5 weeks, maybe. It's alright for me because I'm working
Yeah.
quite a lot of the time. I'm doing bits and bats of deliveries on the weekend, and then I've also got a job with adults with learning difficulties and challenging behaviour for in the week, which is really, it's different. It's not, it's I just wanted to sink my teeth into something while learn a new skill, get things done differently from wrestling while we can't wrestle. So I thought, why not just try and just go in full force, and yeah, I've been there for about 2 weeks now, and it's really good. It's really different, and it's a lot of fun.
At least that's getting you out of the house.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's it sorts out the sleeping pattern, to be fair, because you're in work for 8. It's not too bad. It's only like 20 minutes from where I live. And yeah, I mean, you're in most of the day. Come back, train, and then yeah, off to bed. No, it's not too bad. But it's, as I said, it's getting me out of the house and not getting me stuck just sat in my room or sat in the lounge or something. So yeah.
I suppose it's about getting a routine as well, because
Oh, massively, man, massively. I mean, routine especially with this. Like, I think it's kind of helped the lockdown in a sense with routine, be it meal prepping the night before, or as I said, with sleeping pattern, making sure you make most of the day, and cracking on with things. I've done stuff. I've reshuffled around and resorted some stuff that that I wouldn't have if I was wrestling. I wouldn't have done, and which is kind of a good thing. So I've done that, so I can now leave that to the side and then focus on wrestling when it comes back. So it's a blessing in disguise. But as I say, we're 5 weeks in now, and I'm getting a bit antsy. So
yeah, well, it doesn't look like there's going to be any end in sight anytime soon.
no, sadly not.
Let's get on to more cheerier stuff like wrestling.
Sure.
How long have you been a fan of wrestling then?
Let's see, I was about 8 years old, so that takes us to 2002. So how old am I now? 25. So probably about 17, 18 years maybe.
And who were the guys that you watched when you were growing up?
Oh man, well, I'll do a bit of a backstory. I used to go swimming on a Saturday, and I used to come back home after swimming and watch Sky One and watch like WWE Experience and things like that. But mainly, and then SmackDown was on as well. So like the SmackDown 6. So you've got Edge, Benoit, the lost Guerrero's, Chavo, Eddie, Rey Mysterio, Kurt Angle, and it was just like, oh, this is crazy. What is this? Big Show as well was a big favorite of mine. And then once you got into it, like the likes of like Christian, Chris Jericho, and all them lot like that, so it was just consuming from there.
Who's your main dude then growing up?
Um, it's probably a mix between like Chris Jericho, just purely because of like I've said before, I used to hate him, and I was like, oh, this guy, how is he getting under my skin so much? But yeah, him, and then it's a toss up really. Like I loved Kurt Angle because he was absolutely hilarious back then, as well as being an absolute amazing performer, and it has been for many, many years. But then he had like Rey Mysterio, because obviously, right, I'm going to let you into a little secret here, Others. I'm not that tall.
What?
I'm going to cry. No, I'm
This
only.
is huge. What exclusive.
You're welcome. No, I'm only 5'6", so with Mysterio being, and especially, the whole of the cruiserweight division, especially like in 2004 or like that, they had like Spike Dudley, Nunzio, Shannon Moore, the list goes on. Hurricane, obviously, but he's a lot bigger in person anyway. I'm sure we'll get onto that in a little bit. But all them lot was just like, it was like they're only small, well, smaller than your average wrestler. So I was like, well, if they can do it, surely there's a fighting chance of me getting to do it. And that can obviously be said for the likes of like Spud, aka Drake Maverick nowadays. I mean, he's created waves for many, many years, and especially on the British wrestling scene. And he's a complete underdog, and he has been for most of his career. So it's kind of a testament to that and all of that, especially when I started wrestling, because TNA British Boot Camp was kind of like the big deal back then, and then he was obviously a main competitor and a main thing within that, main person within that. So it kind of was like, oh well, here we go, here's the motivation to get going with that. So kind of a full circle in a sense.
How did you actually get into training? Because obviously your story will be a lot different because you're younger than some of the guys that I've interviewed in the past, where there wasn't as many training skills. Obviously, training skills today, there's loads of them all over.
Yeah, of course, and it's awesome, man, because it gives us especially me now, so much range of different trainers, different places. I mean, I before all this stuff, pandemic started, I was training was me, the young guns, and that would go and train, say at NGW on a Tuesday with Nathan Cruz in Batley, but sometimes I'd go up to Newcastle for Rampage Brands, Screwface Ahmed's classes. Again, both of them amazing. They're both classes and all three trainers. Then Wednesdays would be Future Shock with Sam Bailey, who is, I'll get into the story of he was one of my main trainers, and he has been for a long time now before I started going elsewhere. And then Thursday would be a Fighting Spirit with James Drake and Zach Gibson. So there's already, that's 3 schools in my local area. 3-4 schools what I'd go to consistently, and how much range is there is incredible. But when I started, as I say, it was 2000 and where are we now? 2020. It's been so at 2013. I started when I was 19. I started actually. I went at 18. Did a session. And I was like, you know what, I don't know. It's too busy being, a cool kid back then, just turned 18, whatever. But then 6 months down the line, I was like, what am I doing? Why are you doing this? You need to get back into this. Check the next induction date at Grand Pro, which is where I started anyway. And didn't look back from there. So I was actually the last person in my original group, because it was weird, because I think there was 15, 16 of us start. And then it turned out one week it was just me. I was like, oh, okay, guys, which was weird, but it kind of got thrust into the more of the advanced class earlier than I anticipated, which was again nerve wracking, but amazing, because I met so many amazing people there, which the likes of Isaiah Quinn, who you'll know from Future Shock, Jacob North, again Future Shock, Rizman Khan, Future Shock, and all them lot, and I've been still friends with them to this day, and it's kind of nice to see where we're all we're all on this journey together, really, because as I say, I effectively started with them at Grand Pro Wrestling, and we're still, let's say, how long ago was this now? That was 6 years ago when I started, 6-7 years ago when I started, and we're all still trying to make our way through this British wrestling and wrestling in general now. So it's kind of nice. But as I say, I started there. That was it was good, because I learned the fundamentals under Johnny Brannigan. Sam Gradwell was a huge influence there, which, and obviously Sam Gradwell is just a class guy, great wrestler. A few other people, the Island Brothers, Rio and Taboo, who doesn't wrestle anymore, but he's actually my PT, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, so started there. Learned the fundamentals. I actually was a high flyer at the start, and I tried. I didn't have many moves. I had a nice springboard DDT, but other than that, it wasn't for me. When there's a lot of people, especially when you got your Ospreys and your Ricochets, and then so many guys on the British wrestling scene now who are class. One of my best mates, Joe Nelson, for example, Kid Lycos. I can't do the things he can do, so why try? So yeah. Started there, learned some amazing stuff there, then went on to Future Shock under Sam Bailey. Well, actually, I went to WrestlePro and Pinfall first, where he was training at the time. Learned so much there. He moved on to Future Shock school, so obviously, I still would do bits and bats at Pinfall, but, obviously the main thing would be to, go to training with Bailey, because I've learned so much from him already, and he is, I refer to him as coach, and that won't change. But yeah, and then before all the pandemic, it was just a constant, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You know what? Ethan Allen, I'm sick of seeing the sights of him, and you know what? I actually miss him now. I miss him purely because I'd see him Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for training, Friday, Saturday, Sunday for shows. So it's a nice break, but at the same time, I do miss the little sod. So
You mentioned all these places like Grand Pro,
sure,
Future Shock.
yeah,
The Northwest scene, it's kind of got huge over
it's
the last
amazing.
couple of years, hasn't
I'm
it?
so fortunate to be in the position I'm in, like just position where I live. So not only that, with just kind of with everywhere I train and everywhere that I work, it's just it's huge, and it's a talking point quite a lot of the time, and it's a very good position to be in for like that's me, the young guns, you know, Thelwell, you know, and all that, Joe Nelson, and you know the list goes on with all the guys, because not only do we have so many guys to work with like Ashton Smith, T-Bone, you know, who have worked with Martin Kirby, Ligero, you know, on our doorstep. Zach Gibson, James Drake, I could go on forever. You know, they're on our doorstep to, i.e., work with at different companies and as well as you know, learn from. So the best position to be in, right?
Yeah, I mean, in the north, I should include the north as a whole, not just the Northwest.
Yeah, sure.
Obviously, you've got Future Shock.
Mm-hmm.
You've got places like Fighting Spirit.
Yeah.
Catch just started recently.
Mm-hmm.
You go across the other side of the Pennines, you've got Breed, which I'm sure we'll get into a little bit later on. You've got Tidal in Leeds. You've got North up in Newcastle.
Yeah,
the
great
focus
promotions.
used to be very much down south, but I think that the north of England's got a really strong British wrestling scene at the minute.
It's great, man, and it's just so great to see so many companies thrive. Obviously, like with before the pandemic and stuff like that, I'm sure it'll go back to normal as soon as all this stops and we can get to just crack on with shows and stuff. But yeah, like you said, like the Northeast, which I'm very fortunate to go up to occasionally, you know, they've got like North, MEW is a good place to work as well, but obviously you got, you know, that big boom of North and all them lot with like Rampage as the centre forward, you know, Screwface Ahmed, Nathan Cruz, all them lot as like the kind of the main kind of, you know, well, I'm trying to think of the word centerfold, and that's not a centerfold, centerpieces. There we go. Of that, and then you've got like obviously, you know, like you said, with all the Leeds guys, Manchester guys, and it's just such a thriving scene, and so many promotions have the chance to start up and, you know, succeed, and it's class. You know, I've done stuff that I would never thought I would have done already, you know, and just in the Northwest, let alone, you know, having the chance to go over to Ireland, down to London, wrestling Scotland. So, you know, it's very cool, and it's very I say I'm very fortunate to have so much, you know, so much work and so much potential just in the Northwest, which I can see why some people, you know, just tend to kind of stay local. But, you know, it's a nice kind of thing to be like, well, this is where I'm from, this is what's happening, let's take it elsewhere as well. So it's, you know.
You said that you gave being a high flyer a try.
Yeah.
How did you come up with the character of Big Guns Joe?
Well, I've got a few people to thank for that, really. I mean, when I say one of the Island brothers, Imran, Rio, but his real name Imran, he's actually a sports massage therapist as well at the moment. So again, and he's helped me out a lot, which is cool because he helped train me and stuff. And they're still within my life as well now, even if he does wrestle still, but not as much of on a frequent basis. But people would always kind of make the joke, like obviously being one of the smaller guys at trading, like, oh Joe, you working out today? And I'm like, oh yeah, I've done this, I've done that, blah 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 blah. And it got to a point where I was like that kind of constant running joke saying, oh Joe, you're looking bigger today. I'm like, oh yeah, you know me, you know, whatever. It got to a point where I was like, hang on a minute, this is me, you know, like I'm starting to kind of get this running joke, but it kind of became me. But then he was like, why don't you look at Crash Holly? So I had to look at Crash Holly, you know, his different things. You know, he used to bring the scale out. They used to get different announce for different weights and stuff like that. And I kind of just went with that. And everyone used to call me, oh yeah, you're big, aren't you? You are, yeah, you're big. And I was like, yeah, I am. And then Big Joe. And then, oh, there we go. And then off to the races we went with it, really. And then I've not really looked back. So.
Where did you debut Big Guns Joe then? When was the first place that you properly used it?
Oh, well, to be fair, when it started, I had a couple opportunities to kind of debut. I actually did a few like rumbles, So like BWP, they had the carnival stuff as well, so I got a chance to do that. But really, it was where I first did it was where I worked. I still work occasionally actually. It's the Stockport Plaza. I used to do amateur dramatics there, and it was really cool to be able to wrestle there as well. But it was good, man, and I did that, and then I was like, you know what, this is cool. Let's get this going with that. And actually debuted it properly within the British independent scene, because that was like kind of like a camp show, like once a year kind of show. Was Grand Pro with the Bad Lads. They'd for the past few months they'd been like kind of bigging me up and saying how big I am and stuff like that. And those two guys are like 6 foot and they're quite big lads. So and then out pops me from in between them, and it got a good reaction, to be fair. And it was 6-man tag action. I debuted with them against a guy called Wahoo Thunderfoot, who sporadically wrestles now, Jimmy Jackson, and who else was it? Oh wow, I feel really bad now. Who else was in the match? If I go back, I'll see. But anyway, it was 6-man tag action, and it was really cool. And off we went with it from there. So, but yeah, it's done me some favor. It's done me well. I'm very appreciative of all the support and all like the help I've had with the character. Like I say, I'm really good friends with Chris Sharp, and he's always like on the ball with it. T-Bone's always helped me with it, give me good pointers and things to try, things to do, and all my trainers as well. Like they've really helped mold the character. And as I say, from going on to like more babyface stuff now, it was quite a daunting thing at first, because I was always worried about being babyface, and I tried out a few different shows, and I wasn't really there with it. But obviously things take time, things take practice, and it was kind of all a natural kind of form of especially like the likes of Future Shark and the whole thing with Breed. I'm sure you know all this, and we'll go into it. But it's been a nice kind of slow kind of build of story, and that's kind of helped me kind of put where the babyface Big Guns Joe kind of is placed within the British scene. So
I suppose whether you're getting a reaction, whether it being a good reaction or a bad reaction, a reaction is better than no reaction.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you're not going to be known everywhere. Like it's, as I say, it's a lot easier for me, Future Shock, to kind of be, because I'm already established there, to kind of get into like a deeper kind of storyline, as I have with the challenge, or with Damon, as the affirmation with the Big and Brave, and then the breakup, etc. But just in general, like how you kind of get the crowd to relate to you as a babyface or hate you as a heel. To kind of just new crowds, or your camp show crowds, where they obviously a lot of them might just be holiday makers, or just they've brought the kids to watch the wrestling, etc. Which you can get at any shows anyway. But it's kind of having that establishment of this is who I am. The relation between and the connection with the crowd. It's all been a great learning experience, and I enjoy it every time I go out now, both heel and face, which I never thought would be the case with me. I'd be like, because as I say, when I first started, I was like, no, Big Guns Joe's a bad guy, he's a heel.
I think it's fair to say that 2019 was a massive year for your career.
Yeah, big time.
Let's start things off with Breed, because obviously that got a lot of attention. The Cave Show.
Crazy, man.
I think it was your first championship win.
Yeah, I've been GP. Hold on a second, others. I think you're fine. I'm a 2-time GPW tag team champion. Tag team trophy holder actually. But it was my first actual like title, and it was the fact it was in the cave, the whole storyline. It was just, and again, that was like the gradual kind of turn, because it was only like a few months beforehand I'd just wrestled and actually got absolutely battered by Ridgeway. And then everyone seemed to enjoy me in pain. But then, and again, people had hench section signs at the cave. People started with it when I beat Will Cruz, and everyone started to, kind of go around the ring. And I'm sure you remember me jumping into it with you guys and the group of lads that you were with when I won that match to go to the cave. But yeah.
Do you think that match against Chris Ridgeway was the actual turning point, where you took a right kick in that night? And it kind of like garnered sympathy.
Yeah, definitely.
While you did take a kick in, you did hold your own in that match as well.
Yeah, I mean, I say me and Ridgeway, but I'm really close with him, and I have been for a good year or so now. But yeah, I was no holding back with him. I was like, all right then, mate, if this is what's going to happen, because I knew what was going to happen going in, then obviously I wanted to kind of give my all as well. So I appreciate that, mate. But yeah, I think what was nice as well with that was people saw me as who I am, because he when he beat me, helped me up, obviously, you know, and give me a hug, but then also slapped me on the arse as well. So I was like, oh, okay, here we go. I couldn't not be like, you know, oh, shut up. I was kind of like, oh, you know, he's my mate. So it was one of them where it was earning my stripes, as a cliche as it sounds. That's exactly what it was, and I feel like people could appreciate that. And yeah, with the sympathy as well. Like as I was selling merch at the end, I had my ice pack on my arm because I don't know, I wasn't bicep curling for a little bit after that, but people were saying like, oh, we really appreciated that, and we really enjoyed that, and you felt like you said, held your own, and that was very, very new to me, and I really appreciated it as well. It was very humbling. It was very like kind of motivating at the same time. So, but yeah, that was definitely the starting point. But yeah, as well as that, as I say, the match with G Money as well. That was a different match. People didn't expect the kind of match me and him had, and that's what we wanted to do. And again, I love G Money, and I've wrestled him many times, and I've been on many shows with him. And just being in the locker room with him, he's such an infectious guy, and he's up. You know, I feel like when I'm there with him, it's like he brings more out of me as well. And I feel like that's kind of hard because I'm very like as a person. So it's a nice thing. And then having him there in the locker room, and being a chance to do something different, because me and him are obviously seen as comedy wrestlers to the most degree. So it's nice to kind of have that. And again, that was an upset victory because I kind of won out of nowhere. Then obviously with the World Cruise match, and then obviously the Cave, that was just an experience and a half. I can't thank Breed enough for that. Not only they're putting the winning the title, but the fact that they and in the main event, the fact that they kind of put everything to that Cave show, and obviously had the issues that made them having to kind of reschedule it, but they persevered, no matter how much like kind of stress or like inconvenience or whatever, or struggle it caused for that Breed as a company. They persevered and they carried on with it, and it's nice to know that I was a part of that, and I was the main event of that first ever Cave show. So it's crazy stuff, and I'm going to keep that with me for a long time for the rest of my career.
It looks like you could be keeping hold of that Breed title. As
well. Oh well, because there's lockdown.
Yeah, you could be beating TK Cooper's reign at this rate.
Yeah, well, I don't know how long my reign is now. I'll have to go and check, but still counting, still going.
Without having to take a single bump as well. Fair play.
No. Do you know what? I miss it though. I miss being in the ring, and as I say, not only me, like. There's a lot of guys, there's no way you can be stressed or be annoyed about it because everyone's going through it. So
yeah.
But yeah, with regards to that, it's on my TV, so we're just going to keep that going, and we'll see what happens. As I say, with the first match back was meant to be Ridgeway, and I think that should still be the case. But it'll be nice to see how things are different now between us, and how we can both kind of go into it in a completely different mindset. Me as champion, him as I've got stuff to prove, he's got stuff to prove, so there'll be nothing holding each other back. Which is going to be balls to the wall and a fight effectively. So if it does happen, and I'm sure it will, I hope that that main event of the first show back for Breed should be something to be remembered.
It must be doubly frustrating for you as well, because not only did you have a good run at Breed, couple of appearances at Tidal as well.
Sure.
You were starting to branch out even further.
Yeah.
On shows at Attack. You'd been brought into the fold at Schadenfreude and Friends.
Yeah, man.
Things were really beginning to snowball. Yeah. Briefly, what was it like working at both them places? I know that the vibe's probably pretty similar at both.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm very friendly with a lot of guys there now, and have been for a while. So it's nice to see, because with Attack as well, it's like London lot, Cardiff lot, not Manchester lot, all coming into one. But it was cool, man, because one I debuted for him on the Missile Tour, and that's like a big kind of weekend for them, long weekend for them.
Was that at Bristol?
It was at Cathays. Where I debuted, yeah, which was again one of their main, their centerfold of a venue, so their staple venue, and it was cool to debut there. And the reaction was, I was just so thankful, man. The reaction was great. I really enjoyed the match. I got to ring announce the day after as well. Was that in Bristol? But yeah, that was like kind of their final show, and that was cool to do that because I got to stay over with the lads, kind of then be around everyone for the whole weekend and just enjoy it. I mean, I'd gone down to London a few times when did the shows there and done the raffle as well, and that kind of created a thing of its own, which was really, really fun. Really, just it was just something to sink my teeth into, and people were like kind of looking forward to it, regardless if how many people were. People like were like, oh, it's the hench raffle again. I was like, yes, that's it. But it was cool to do so many different things there already. And then Sheldon, I've always wanted to wrestle at the Frog and Bucket, and back for when it was IPW were doing the Tuesday night graps. There was Lucha Forever for a while as well. It's a staple kind of venue now for wrestling, and it was just so cool to do that. And I can't thank Chris Brooks, Lycos, Aussie Open, the whole of Schadenfreude just for giving me the opportunity, really, because again with those lads, they've especially with Chris as well, he on Twitter a few times he'd put me forward and kind of said lots of like nice things and been very humble, and I was just like, dude, the guy didn't have to do that, and he did that for me. So, and again, just having the different kind of matches and just being around that audience, it's completely different. And when you're forced to eat a whole loaf of bread, you think, well, this is it now. But again, the reaction as well was incredible for me when I debuted against two of my best friends and a good mate who I've seen a lot more frequently now, the Young Guns and Callum Newman. So again, is a crazy talent. Again, another high flyer who would do tons better, who already does amazing stuff compared to what I could ever do. But just having that kind of reaction, I think for me, moments are a big thing for my career. Like with lots of Future Shock, with slamming Crater, the whole match against Gibson, I feel was like a big kind of turning point for me because it was kind of like, that was where sympathy started for me and getting more of a babyface reaction because he came out and people didn't know how to react against for me, which was what Future Shock wanted to test at first. And people started to get behind me, and then I did a promo on him saying, obviously because he was in the NXT, the second NXT UK tournament, and he lost in the final. So no, he didn't lose in the final. Sorry, he won the tournament but lost his title match. So I kind of was like, I didn't see the NXT UK title around your waist. And I was like, oh, and that's how it turned for me. So but yeah, I think with moments slamming Crater as well, the Cave show for Breed, but just loads of different kind of moments. I think are what have kind of paved my career so far. And again, I'm very, very fortunate for everywhere I've wrestled, be it in small social clubs or be it at the Frog and Bucket, be it at, Attack or, everywhere else down in London at Resgal. That's a great, where lots of wrestling goes, and I've managed to wrestle there for, Southside's last ever show. It was like a last minute thing for me. He was like, no, you know what, we'll put you in that the whole gauntlet thing. And I did a whole thing where I was going in the audience, like in my gear, like, what's going on? I paid for my ticket and I'm here, what's going on? And then I was like, you know what, I ran in and then ran out, and it was a good reaction for that as well. I was like, oh, people were paying attention while I was out there, but there was just so many people there as well. And it's such a nice venue down in Stevenage. But yeah, again, no matter what, so fortunate to be where I am at the moment, and hopefully we can keep the ball rolling and get cracking again when all this pandemic blows over. So
before you go, I just want to play a quick word association game.
Oh, let's go.
I'm going to throw some names at you, and I want you to give me the first thing that comes into your head.
Let's do it.
Chris Ridgway.
Best mate.
Ethan Allen.
Ginger.
Luke Jacobs.
What a boy. Big boy.
Chris Brooks.
Just top guy.
Mad Kurt.
Just a noise.
Chief Deputy Dunn.
Awesome.
Los Federalos Santos Jr.
Great kisser. You know what? So's Chief Deputy Dunn. Both great kissers.
I have to edit that part out. Joe Nelson.
Again, lovely lad, best mate.
Gene Money.
Hilarious.
Martina.
I'm John Cena.
Attack Pro Wrestling.
Crazy, but such fun.
Future Shock Wrestling.
Home.
Breed Pro Wrestling.
Another home. Moments.
Tidal.
Crazy. Love it.
Last one. Big Guns Joe.
Hench. Twitter is Benchmark Big Joe. Instagram at Big Guns Joe. But no, man, just hope everyone's safe. Everyone's, doing well. I just can't wait for wrestling to start again. Not just for me, but just for all the boys up and down, boys and girls up and down the country, up and down, in the whole world, really, because it's a crazy time we're going through. The pandemic, it's just, we don't know how long it's going to last, but I hope everyone stays safe. Everyone can enjoy themselves, with the time they have, doing different things. I've started doing different things, and I know a lot of the other lads have who I'm close with, but, look after each other. And remember one thing, others, you ready? Nobody measures up to Big Guns Joe. Thanks, mate.
Take care, man. Speak to you soon.
And you, buddy. Take it easy, man. Bye.